We are coming. We are coming with determined and structured force. Even if we have to declare the place a war zone, we are coming with a war plan and we must defeat them.
onye gị na-ebi na ya dị onwere ife ọ na-alụ mana ọ na-ejisi ego ike ya gbaa ya ama onye gị na-ebi na ya dị onwere ife ọ na-alụ mana ọ na-ejisi ego ike ya gbaa ya ama.
GGM, uniting the people for good governance.
Good evening, viewers. This is BVI Channel 1. You are live on GGM Hour. Today we are revisiting the very issue we talked about there last week Friday with the Commissioner of Information of Anambra State, Dr. Mefor, and tonight, because of the glitches and the technical issues we had on that broadcast that made it very, very difficult for people to follow on that program, we decided to reschedule the program back again so that every one of us would be able to connect with the program tonight. So without wasting further time, let us quickly highlight the major issue we are going to be talking about today, which is the security updates in Anambra State. Since the governor of Anambra State launched what he called Operation Udogachi and signed into law the Anambra Homeland Security Law. Many are yet to understand what that law is all about. Tonight, let us have a look at it once again. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Very heavily on security, and I can tell you in the coming weeks and months it will not only be talked about, you will not only feel it, you will touch it, that Anambra will become one of the safest states to do business. Anambra State Homeland Security Law. The Anambra State Homeland Security Law has come to be. The second event is the formal launch of our Special Intervention Force, which we call Operation Udogachi. This morning, we had to cut the ribbon where we had the vehicles that are being rolled out today. I'm going to the streets of Anambra, got the ribbon, the first batch, and then I came down here, surprisingly as well, part of this force, which happens to be the new security architecture. We are coming. We are determined and structured force. Even if we have to declare the place a war zone, we are coming with a war plan and we must defeat them.
GGM, uniting the people for good governance.
Since after the launch of this Operation Udogachi by Solution Government, led by Professor Charles Soludo in Anambra State, there are some level on some certain controversy that have trailed this security measure adopted by the governor. As some communities have adopted their own way of communicating this very issue to the general public in their community, but it turns out to become a kind of controversy. And some of them is what we're going to highlight tonight. And we're going to hear what it means, which one is true and which one is not, from the mouthpiece of Governor Soludo. But before we bring him on, let us take a look at some of these announcements that raised some dust. I'll be right back.
onwe onye gị na-ebi na ya dị onwere ife ọ na-alụ mana ọ na-erisi ego ike bịa gbaa ya ama onwe onye gị na-ebi na ya dị onwere ife ọ na-alụ mana ọ na-erisi ego ike bịa gbaa ya ama
nke a bụ okwu dị oke mkpa nke si n'aka steeti gọọmenti of Anambra wee bịa o mere ka a mara na ọ bụrụ na ịbụ onye mba wee nọ n'obodo Ezilifite wee na-agba ọgwụ ọbụla dị iche iche wee na-eme eze nwoke na-eme eze nwaanyị ị ga-ala na be nna gị wee jee mebe eze nwoke na eze nwaanyị gị ahụ wee merewa dibịa gị maka na mmadụ anaghị anọ na mba wee na-enye nna nna ha nri n'obodo ya. Onye ga-enye nna ya nwụrụ anwụ nri ga-ala be nna ya ebe o liri nna ya ma elighị nna gị n'Ezilifite Nnewi South. Ọ bụrụkwanụ na ịbụ onye Ezilifite iwe na-agwụ agwụ na-ekechi ekechi ịbụ eze nwoke ịbụ eze nwaanyị ị ga-aga Ọka ịga Ọka enye gị asambodo bụ satifiketi ịlatakwa Ezilifite anyị agbọọ gị n'Ezilifite họl. Ọ bụrụ na esi na-agba ọgbanje akpọtara gị ndị ọgbanje ịgwọ anyị afụ. Ọ bụrụ na isi niile na mmadụ onwe ego ọ bụrụ na ọmụnwa na-ekwughị okwu a kịta akpọta anyị ebe mmadụ na-atọ n'ifechi ọgbọ ọkada akpọta mmadụ kpọtacha ndị a na-ebu onye buru ime anya nye nwe ego karịa Dangote n'abalị na-atọ Ezilifite wee kwere failing to do so. Ọ bụrụ na gọọmenti kpọrọ gị marakwa ama na gọọmenti ga-akpọkpọchi ebe ahụ ị na-agwọ ọgwụgwọ ahụ. Ọ bụrụ na ịma na-ebu pastọ na-ebu prọfet na-ebu evangelist na-ebu prọfetes na-ebu bishọp bụrụ popu nke ọ sọkwa ihe bụrụ iwe kpọkọrọta ndị mmadụ ofu ebe na-etinye abarakata aba. Ọ bụrụ na gọọmenti jide gị ebe ọ na-abụ iweli aka elu ndị mmadụ adaba ka mango chara acha, ọ bụrụ na eje Ọka ị ga-akpatusikwe ndị nọ n'Ọka ka ha wee kere. Ọ bụrụ na ịkwatusie ndị nọ n'Ọka ịlataba anyị a ịbịa kwatuo anyị wee kwere.
GGM, uniting the people for good governance.
All right, people, we are still on it. And I believe by now you've catch a glimpse of what we are talking about tonight. We are going to have this conversation like brothers, like brethren, like village community discussion. And I'll be bringing in the Commissioner of Information, Dr. Mefor, as he'll be joining us virtually on this program for us to have this conversation. He's already seated, and I hope you can hear me. You can now unmute yourself and bring yourself on so that we can commence this conversation.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We can hear you, but we can't see you yet. Okay.
Yeah, I can see myself.
Okay.
You know.
The studio is bringing you on. Thank you very much.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you for hosting me. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Let's have a brotherly and decent conversation.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my pleasure to have you here. Doctor, we are looking at this very issue that concerns the Anambra State with respect to the recent launch of Operation Udogache and the Agune Chamber Operation Outfit and the Homeland Security. Just in about a minute or two, give us a highlight of what that Homeland Security law is all about. Just in summary, like a minute or two, so that we can now engage to take some questions.
Yeah, thank you. The security, or rather the insecurity in Anambra in 2004 was somehow intractable, and the government needed to change their gears and how to bring in an entirely new security architecture to deal comprehensively with the security situation in Anambra State. Three things. One is a carefully thought out legal framework, which we now call Anambra State a Homeland Law 2024. 2025, because we actually signed it to law on January 18th, 2025. That is to provide what we call the legal framework, which is now in place. And then he also made very elaborate provisions to cover the operations, take care of the kinetic and non-kinetic components of the new security architecture. The kinetic is essentially the first component of it. We have over 200 trucks and SUVs deployed in the operations in the first phase. We now have a command and control center. This is driven by artificial intelligence. It has the entirety of Anambra connected. There are CCTV cameras and other forms of communication, like radio, walkie-talkie, and so on and so forth. We also have what you call call center that operates 24/7. That is why we can now say, if you see something, say something, call 5111. That is 5111. No matter the time of the day or night, there is somebody take your call and process it. So we utilize it. And even that which you have given us as an intel, for the information that you have related to us. We also have one of the best practice systems in the country now. So whatever you do in Anambra with telephone now, it can be tracked. And if it's a security challenge or any form of insecurity, if you're apprehended, that's the kinetic component. The non-kinetic they have to do with using other forms of motivation to get the criminals to repent and giving a life One thing, the governor announced the amnesty. The amnesty has actually expired, but I do know that there are some videos that are ready to surrender today. Governor can be persuaded to still extend the amnesty. There are other aspects. The operation, look at this, it's now an operation of the new law. Agnes Chamber particularly, because in the old law that was reviewed, replaced with Anambra's State Homeland and Security Law 2025, our vigilante was called Anambra Vigilante Group. But under the new arrangement, under the new law, our vigilante had to request him Agnes Chamber. Operation Udogachi is an operation launched into force by the governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, and is made up of a leading security agency. Our own Operation Udogachi is our own Operation Agnes Chamber. Agnes Chamber is a part, only a part of Operation Udogachi. The other members of Operation Udogachi are the Border Security Agency, which is the Nigerian Police Force, the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, the Civil Defense, and the TFX. That is if we're counting with. So the operation it runs at the level. At the state level, at the local government level, and then at the community level. It's different from what obtained in the past. Because under the new law, the operation is more comprehensive, unlike the old law that restricted the operation to the communities, now statewide. Legally protected, and a well-armed, well-trained, well-motivated force. And so far they have performed creditably well. It's not yet Uhuru, but the trajectory is very promising. And I want to say that since the Operation Udogachi and the Agnes Chamber were unleashed on the 18th of January 2025, to now, barely a month plus, Anambra is becoming a full, quiet. We don't hear the case of kidnapping as rampant as we used to hear. We don't, many has started sleeping with their two eyes closed. And many areas in Anambra State that were before now, areas, activities have started thriving in those places. Activities and businesses are thriving in those places. The sit at home we normally see every month, especially now. And we have incentivized information. We pay for information now. So when you call 5111, 5301, the intelligence part, when processed and they found the use of, we pay for it up to 5 million per intel. You know, so this has helped a lot because many people are now taking advantage of the wasteful low information of this administration. You know, I think apart from certain provisions of the Homeland law, as it has to do with the landlords, every tenant in Anambra now is to be profiled. We want to know who the person is or persons, and the profiling is free of charge. We also, with the law, also expect that the native doctors, those who are into traditional practice, to identify themselves. Not those who are into traditional work, it's a different thing altogether. The people that are required to be profiled are the native doctors and the Indians and why. Is because the law criminalizes certain evil practices that we find in traditional practice, not worship. Traditional religion, even traditional religion is a different thing altogether. It's not affected by this law in any way. What is affected is the traditional medicine practice, the native doctors, male and female. We want to know who they are. And the reason is because those who are fake among them will have to be weeded out. That is the prescription of the law. And those who are evil among them are also to be weeded out. The law makes an express petition against those who we've had the portion you call OTT. They are to be really dealt with by the law. The law is very clear that if you are into OTT, is an imprisonment term for it. If you're found with a human part, there is an imprisonment for it up to 25 years without option to fine. And there are other variants of OKT. The ones they call Arabaka, the Black Family, Ibubo. There are others. All these are all outlawed. Another provision of the law has to do with the crime enablers, like drug dealers. If you are into drug dealing in Anambra State now, you have the trouble ahead of you. And what we mean by drugs, like hard drugs, ranging from Igbo to Charlie, heroin, cocaine, loud, crystal meth, the one we call Kurobeli. If you are a dealer in any of this, jail term are with you. Jail term are with you. And if you have a house and it is used for kidnapping, the house will be automatically forfeited to the state. And the policy of the Blue Administration is that such a building will have to be pulled down. Over 20 buildings have been pulled out. Pulled down, many more will be pulled down. Once we conclude investigations and we are certain that indeed the house is connected to kidnapping and kidnappers, the house becomes automatically forfeited and it goes down. It doesn't matter who owns it. And these are what I may call the major and express provisions of the new law and the operations of Akune Chamber and Operation Bogati. There are more questions. Maybe I will talk some more over some of those provisions and others I haven't mentioned. Thank you.
Dr. Law Mefor. We are looking at some of the highlights of what you've said so far, and there are some controversy that have trailed this operation. For instance, the announcement that was heard some time ago about a kind of moral policing of Anambra State. And in doing that, it now entails that they said that women that wear, or girls that do not wear pant and bra and all of those things. What is the position of government? Did they sanction that announcement? And also, there are other things that you needed to talk about. You mentioned the Ndi Ordinane, and you tried to separate between the Dibias and Ndi Ordinane worship. You know, the traditional worship different from Ndi Neme Dibia, like Ezenwani, and all of those diabolic engagement, or even Dibia is supposed to be a natural practice of medicine. That's a warrior and the rest of them. But it has now been, you know, turned into occultic and diabolic manipulation of our young people, and a clampdown on them is believed to, in a long way, curb insecurity. Now, what is the position of government with that announcement? Because there are other foreign ones that came up, and I saw our Governor Soludo, react to them. But let us have your opinion on those, or your stand, or the stand of the government of Anambra State with respect to that kind of moral policing of the Anambra State. Like some people, if you wear dreadlock, I saw a community where they said, if you wear dreadlock, if you look in this manner, you are in trouble, and the rest of them. So let us get some of these, the position of the government on some of these things.
You know, some of the things you said came as a surprise to those of us in government. The law never prescribed such measures. And the government never also issued that as a directive that women who don't wear bra or pants will have to be sanctioned. There is nothing like that. If you look at it, such a law or such a directive cannot be implemented without some chaos. Because one is how determine a woman that is wearing pants or not. It means she has to raise her cross, right? No decent government can start of that. So we never issued such directive. And those who also talked about signing of trousers and wearing of dreadlocks is not in the law. The Anambra State Homeland Security Law 2025 is about crime and criminality. It's not like or fashion. No, it has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. So whoever concocted that, out of his own position. And that was why I issued a press statement when that came to my notice. That whoever is doing that or will do that will be considered as a saboteur of the law and the new security architecture and its operation. And since we issued that plan warning, I think such a misinterpretation has actually fizzled out. We want to believe that those who did that out of ignorance, maybe trying to bring in some other things they think the law should also look into. Yeah, they have such recommendations. They should pass it to government so that the law is amended. But when the law is amended, you cannot walk outside it without violating the same law that you're trying to enforce or protect. So we didn't announce that. It's also not in the law. You talked about the distinction I made between traditional worship and traditional medicine practice. They are two different things. Traditional worship is Igbo traditional religion. Igbo traditional religion is different from native doctor or traditional medicine practice or practitioner. You may be surprised that somebody who is a traditional worshiper may be a native doctor. Yes. Somebody who is not a worshiper, a traditional worshiper may not be, confined a native doctor that is even a Christian. That is not
I think network is hanging on
understand it.
our.
You will clearly see that it's an art itself. It's an art, it's a science. And in Igbo land, you have 2 to 3 forms of native doctor. You have those who are into divination. That's the way they look into the future. Then you have those who you may call a dibia, or that they are traditional pharmacists. They know the barks of trees and roots and things that can be combined to yield up cure. So it's a gift. It's part of Igbo culture. Not necessarily Igbo traditional worship. It's a different issue altogether. First and foremost, the law is not against Igbo traditional worship. No. As a matter of fact, the law seeks to protect it. The law is also not against Ndedivia. Those of them who do not use their art and gift as a form of criminality. Yes, some of them are fake, like every other profession. Go to medicine, law, pharmacy, journalism. You have fake practitioners, those who are not, but they claim that they are. Igbo traditional medicine practice as a profession, as a vocation, has also happened a lot of dangerous fake. And they are the ones the law against, those who produce dangerous portions, like people who make those are evil in our consideration, because they are altering destiny and natural order of things. They believe that what they achieve for people can make them rich without work. So such practice, wealth without work is criminal, and that is what the law wants to stop. There are those who prepare what you call obesity. He gives these young ones what you call a Dutch courage. What I mean by Dutch courage is a very stupid, foolish courage, false courage, that makes them believe that bullet cannot penetrate them. If that is true, how come many of them that were killed in action, wearing the same amulet and the order, were killed wearing the Odeshi amulet and order? Something is wrong somewhere. I'm not telling them the truth. So the government wants all these things to stop. If you follow my analysis, you will see that there's no way this law or the express provisions of the law or the Agone Chamber operation is targeted at traditional worship or genuine traditional Igbo traditional medical practice. No, it does not. It seeks to protect them.
Okay. All right. I think you've actually, to a large extent, answered those questions very eloquently. And now our people who are watching, you can now engage with the Commissioner of Information, who is right here with us. If there is any concern or any question you want to ask the government of Soludo, this is the opportunity for you to do so. You are here with the Commissioner of Information, the mouthpiece of the government of Anambra State. So now let us descend into some of these things very critically. In fact, more sensitive, I may say. Okay, when we are looking at this fight against Ndi Ordinary, to be honest with you, there is a video I came across just recently, I think about yesterday, where someone was lamenting. I've forgotten the name of that community in Anambra State, where the Ordinary worship center, their perimeter fence were destroyed by their PG, and they are bordering with the same fence with the church, and the part of the church angle wasn't touched, and they are like, it seems that this government is coming after our traditional worship. What can you say of that? Or is it overzealousness of some of the PG?
You use the right word. Ignorance, overzealousness, and even outright wickedness. Some people that are trying to use the opportunity of the new law to settle scores with people. In one instance, we had a meeting today with traditional worshippers, that is the native doctors and the XMI. Over 500 of them gathered at the district secretariat. And myself and my brother commissioner for culture, entertainment, and tourism hosted them. For over 4 hours, we had a lot. And what you just said was one of the things that was reported. One of the things that were reported, we found that in an attempt to implement this law, some people are really bearing up, and they need to be brought back into line. For example, you see the policeman arrest somebody who has gone to buy cock or something. The cock is meant for traditional worship, and people said there should be no traditional worship anymore. We wonder where such people are getting that kind of a directive. So sometimes we wonder, do they deliberately trying to catch this law or something like that? But there is nothing in the law that says that whoever is a traditional worshiper has committed any crime. So we reassure them that there's something like that, efforts will be made to get across to BGs. And luckily, the national president of the ATAC, which is the association of the town union, in Anambra State, 179. The national president was part of the meeting we held today. So yes, we have some pockets of that kind of complaint, but they are far in between, not the prevalent. No, you cannot say that is what is going. Just the 1 or 2 incidents like that, and we are going to weed out. Like I debunked the claim that the law says you can't even weapons. The same way, we never asked them to arrest every traditional medicine man. That's not the instruction. If it's the instruction of the directive or the preponderance of the law, we would not be proceeding over by today. So that would be contradicting the position of the law and the government, assuming that it's not. So we are going to really fine-tune the implementation so that the traditional workers of traditional men and women do not feel threatened or in danger. The operation is very clear. Go after fake native doctors and the evil native doctors, those who make okay and then it's associated portions, you don't want to be part anymore. And there is a way you can identify a genuine Igbo traditional medical practitioner. Go through the towns. You have the President General with his council. You have the Igwe and his council. They all know who you do in the town. So if a traditional medicine man feels threatened, or maybe he believes that the PG is after him, he has people to go to. And even if he believes that both the Igwe and the PG are both against him, he has the executive council of the answer to go to. He can also access the government directly. The office is open. The office of the Court of Commission. There is also an agency, the whole agency for alternative medicine, and they have a practitioner set up by government. The kind of regulatory body for them. And then many of them have documented their so they have millions they can export to be able to get justice if they believe that the right is free. Yeah, so I think yes, we have also believed that there are some excesses in the implementation of the law. Two things I have said. The excesses are far in between. It's not the order of the day. We have a few exceptions. And then we are also going to deal with the excesses and those who feel threatened. They approach the Igwe, the PG, by opening the office of the Commissioner for Culture, and then the special advisor, the president of the secretary, who is coordinating the agency, where they have adopted. So we need information to be able to deal with some specific. We are prepared to help the traditional practitioners who say, ensure that the environment is not hostile to them. They should be able to feel free, apply their trade. Those we are up and after, they are known to us and even known to them themselves. We are against fake native doctors and the evil native doctors that without the person you come to today, especially and so on and so forth. We are after them. We are really running out of the giving right to what we can about us of legal. There's no genuine traditional medicine practitioner that is wrong. That's why we go to the 500 of them today. The genuine ones are in Anambra and they're not actually what? Okay. So,
okay. All right, I think with that, we are coming closer to the real deal. Talking about the native doctors that are fake. What about the fake pastors and fake Christian religious worship? Does that same thing apply to them? Those who are doing miracles and all of those practices, selling some of the items. How do you deal with that?
Applies to the fake pastors and fake churches. In fact, we have closed down some churches already. Yes, there are churches that we closed down in Anambra. All the churches where this kind of evil manipulation is taking place, they have an outside set of them. So we also tell our people to put us on such a fake churches and fake pastors. Wherever they do, we take them out. That's taking them out. I mean, taking them out of practice and getting them to answer for their evil manipulations. They are jail bound, I tell you. Because when let me give you an example, you bring a holy water, olive oil, handkerchief, and even your offerings, and tell your followers to bring the olive oil and holy water when they are sick. But when you, the pastor, when you're sick, you fly to India or to America, there is something evil about that. So, if your handkerchief can cure anybody, then you want to see it curing. Otherwise, what you are doing is manipulation.
Exactly.
We are closing down those churches. And if you know any of those churches, please call 5111. 541.
Now that you mentioned that, because you already have in custody two pronounced GGMs and one whom I called. In fact, I specifically demanded that the man should be picked up. The one I called both fake native doctor and fake pastor, 2 in 1. The one they call the audience of Jesus. Today, these three guys, Akwakuko, the one they call Ekehit, and this guy, they are all in custody. Now,
Yes, they are with us.
good. Now, how do one? Because there were so many things. There were so many insinuations. In fact, I saw Soludo mention one of his outings. I think when he was receiving this award, Son Award. I think I don't know, not Son Award, when he was having a discussion with Anambra State in Lagos or something. He was saying that he had that in Kokuro, people they push the you know, for instance, the issue of in fact, that any native doctor that can disappear from custody can go home free and discharged and all of those things. And now, even for one of the announcements that we had, that it's in a medical now, would that same thing apply to test the efficacy of those who claim miracle this, miracle that, selling one thing or the other to their followers or the worshippers in their congregation? Would that apply? Because if they put together Soludo or Abonga side and Dioma, Soludo Abonga Ndio Kamba, when it gets to determine which one is fake church and which one is not.
My dear, the law is very clear. If you claim what you are not, if you claim that you possess some supernatural powers, you have to prove it or go to jail. That is what the law has said. So if you say that you have the power to be dead, how much one is spread all over Anambra State? We'll take you to a mortuary. It's very simple. It's a very practical. The mortuary. And then you raise the dead. Just one should be sufficient. Raise one dead now. And the person comes out of the mortuary alive again. We will celebrate you. But if you go and sit with one group of people and you align with the people, most of these so-called miracles you see are all stage managed to confuse and deceive the people. That is what the law is against. So if you know that, like fake doctor that is making that you too can do some prayers and the money will everywhere. We need you also come and do something. You know, somebody was asking me the other day, could the solution have said if a native doctor can disappear, or if the maker of Oki they can produce money that will be free? For me, solution doesn't need to pay. Because what the law says is, if you know that you have such powers, you either prove it or you go to jail. It's simple. Very, very simple. So if you say that you do Odenchi, fine. Come and do Odenchi. Then we will test it ourselves with our own gun, with our own AK-47, not your own. Yes, because what we noticed is that what they do, they are all clever group. They will use blank bullets to do the testing. So you hear the firing of the gun, but there is no real bullet in it. So we will bring our own AK-47 and test you point blank. Let's see if you survive. If you survive it, we will adopt you as a state Pekin and attach you to our own Agune chamber. You will start producing bulletproof for them. And whatever you charge us, we will pay. But if you cannot, you are going to jail. You cannot be producing bulletproof for people, and you cannot allow the same bulletproof to be tested on you, the manufacturer. You know, so that's the position of the law. If any of them, for example, we have Akwa Okokotiwanaki, we have Eke Hit, we have Onyeze Jesus. In fact, we have over 30 native doctors. Any of them that can disappear, the person has freed himself now. Let him fly away to heaven or to London or to wherever. Let him fly away and he is free. He has freed himself. Why not? But as long as they are with us, we are investigating them. We want to confirm what their Okite contains. Yes, we are interested in testing. I want to know what your kit that contains the liquid there. What is it? Want to see the blood there? Is it human or that of an animal? Want to see the flesh that we find there? Is it human? Is it that of an animal? If the bone there is that of a monkey or a bat or a finger of a child, and or that of, we really need to know what that okite is about. And even if the okite is false and does not possess anything like human parts and all that, and cannot produce money as they claim, it means that you have actually lied. You claim that you have supernatural powers that cannot be verified. It's against the law also. You're still going to jail. So I really don't see how these guys will not be charged to court. I don't see how. So no matter how you look at it, if the okite contains incriminating evidence, what it means is that your jail time will be full. If you find any human part there, that is 25 years in jail without option of fine. If you don't find anything human there, your jail time will be much less, because it has to be centered on claiming that you have supernatural powers that do not exist.
Like obtainers by trick.
You said?
Like obtaining people by trick.
Yes, now that's section 419 that you find in the criminal code. Section 419, yes, obtaining by trick. You need to be lying to people to collect from them. You go to jail. It is very clear.
Okay, now that we have established that, in case you
if what you had it contains human parts, then you are done for. You'll be locked away for 25 years. By the time you come out, you will not recognize Anambra again.
Anambra must have been much more like a Dubai at that time.
He may not be able to trace his father's house because so much must have changed. So that's it. I know a man that used a Ukuapa as a landmark to his father's house. But when a former governor built a road along that place, he removed the Ukuapa, and the man, when he returned home, the taxi taking him took him beyond his town to several towns away from his place, because he was busy looking for Ukuapa that was removed during the road construction. That is what will happen to the okite person by the time they come out of court.
Anyways, that is wonderful for that your response. And I believe by now anyone that wants to make a call can make a call and ask any question that he deems fit, except this very conversation is quite clear to you and not ambiguous for you to understand. Actually, it is not ambiguous. And I believe many of you who are listening will agree with the Commissioner of Information. But in case you don't, or you still have some gray areas you want to comment, or you want to ask questions or find clarification on, you can call the numbers on the screen, which is our direct call number, +23481045553. And if you don't have the calls coming, we'll conclude this conversation and we'll continue to engage the Commissioner in order to be abreast with the workings of the government of Anambra State. It is very important. And having said that, Honorable Commissioner, can you tell us, because sometimes I say now, bad bed, cried in the night, and in the morning a child died. Now, people are saying or insinuating that the launch of this Agune chamber is connected with the political year of 2025. How true is that?
How can that be true? is still another manifestation of ignorance or mischief or both. You know, I joined this government on 17th of September 2024. And by the time I joined the government as Commissioner for Information, they talked and planned for the establishment of the current security architecture was already in place, was already going on. You know, when you are planning a security intervention, particularly of this magnitude, two things are very crucial. One is that you really have to do it secretly, and then you need to really do it thoroughly. I told us the things that constitute the components of the new security architecture in Anambra State. I talked about technology. I told us about the command and control center. The command and control center took months to put in place because it means physical construction of the control tower and control room and everything. Let me give you one instance. I'm aware that the consultants that they put together the command and control center rejected where government initially proposed and constructed for that purpose. Fresh construction had to take. All these things were happening in 2024, not 2025. You needed to procure enough vehicles. You needed to recruit enough manpower. Now the operation Dogachi could be made up of some troops from some agencies and our own agriculture. They are more than 2,000. You need time to couple all these things together. We needed to put in place a call center where people can call and the operators train to even understand the meaning and the essence of receiving and processing calls based on confidentiality so that we don't lose the trust of the people.
Okay.
These things took time. And to even acquire the tracking systems, some of the machines that constitute the tracking needed to be procured. Don't just buy it over the counter. Don't also forget that the initial date for the launch of the Jolodogati and the Agro Temple was December 2024. It had to be put off to January 2025 because we had some technical issues that needed to be put in place so that if you roll out, you will know that you are going to roll out. So you can see that there was no way we could have conceived and actualized the new security architecture in January 2025 alone. It started months before 2025.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We have a caller from South Africa, Odogu. If I'm not mistaken, is our brother, the Chancellor of the Biafran Parliament. You can unmute yourself if you're hearing me to join the program. If you have any question or contribution to make, we want to hear your opinion on this. You can unmute yourself. You are muted.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Andrew.
Chinedu, actually.
And also good evening, our listeners. It's a pleasure and happiness that has taken over our land. Having said that, I would like to know what the government is doing to make sure that those who are being arrested are not just arrested and incarcerated, but those who can be rehabilitated. Is there anything that the government is doing to rehabilitate those who are possibly can be rehabilitated? Because those of them who have not started eating human flesh, I believe those are our youths. They should be rehabilitated. I don't want to compare them with Boko Haram in the north because we don't have any similarities. We are not the same. We cannot be compared. You see, but in modern society, in issues like this, those who are caught should be rehabilitated. If governments in the southeast are doing something like when somebody is in prison, it's not just there as a correctional facility, it's not just there to wallow and anguish for nothing. That person is empowered with something that when he is released today into the society, his life will not be devastated. You must live a life of hope inside our various correctional facilities. That is why it is called correctional facilities. You have the opportunity to either school, learn work, be empowered, even get something at the end of the day when that person is getting free, is being freed from the prison. We can do it. We have the resources to do such type of things. So I want to know, is this government, does they have anything in plan to put one or two things together to rehabilitate our youths? Because these are our youths. We can't throw them away. That's my question.
Okay, now before, Doctor, you heard what he said. Before you come in, let me expatiate a little bit with what he said, because I was about making a video with respect to what he's talked about regarding prisoners or people who are serving terms in detention. You know, for instance, in that of Anambra State, just like you asked, Obune was something like agricultural farm settlement or an industry where these guys can be engaged in a productive venture when they are serving. They can be making some little peanuts for themselves, which they can use after they are being released, and also being able to add value to the economy, not just sitting back and eating taxpayers' money after committing crime. Now over to the Commissioner of Information to address some of those things. And wherever they can plan, government he rehabilitate these guys.
He said that is Udowele, right?
Yes.
And I thought I had his about it as well. Well, if it's Udowele and his abandoned, it's actually my brother because I'm abandoned also. That is one. Then, you know, until recently, what you have as a prisons now called the correctional services or was on the exclusive list. It means that prisons In fact, up till now, even though the law has moved it to concurrent use, which means that the states now have the power to build their own prisons. But I'm not aware of any state that has refused any book. Anambra certainly hasn't refused any book. And so what we do as the way of rehabilitating our is have them attached to the scheme we call One Youth, Two Skills. And the governor also aware of the fact that we do not have the ability to call our own where we can take total charge and rehabilitate our youth within the prison walls. Decided to offer amnesty. He said that the youths who are caught up in this insecurity way should give up themselves, surrender their arms, and denounce what they are doing. Then they will be moved into the One Two Skills scheme. One Two Skills has up to 40 different skills and vocations that it covers. Over 10,000 of the Anambra youths have so far benefited. The initial batch was 5,000. The second batch was 8,000 something. That makes about 13,000 that have already graduated and empowered. The third batch is in training as we speak. And every youth that wants to be given a skill, the governor made an open declaration. Please report yourself for the office of the special advisor to the governor on security, and also the commissioner for youth and you will be also taking it to, because it's a whole ministry that is the charge of the One Youth and Two Skills. They have trained over 13,000. So that is what we do. If you understand my answer, we do not have a prison yet. Prison is still a federal concern, so they have deregulated. The law has been passed, moving the prisons from exclusively to concurrent list, which means that states can now construct their own prisons. We haven't constructed any prison yet. So we are rehabilitating our youth on our own, using these schemes and not using the prison facility. So those who allow themselves to go to prison, they will be taken away from us. We won't be able to do anything about them, because whatever you give at the prison cannot be, Anambra prisoners cannot be isolated from the rest. If that is possible, I don't know. I'm not sure that such a policy is in place. So what is in place is to rehabilitate those who want to be rehabilitated. They don't need to go to jail. They need to just repent, and the government will take up their rehabilitation. After rehabilitation, you'll be given a skill or two, or given a skill or two, and even startups, including money, to set up their own shops. And the skills range from agriculture up to ICT. Those of them who are interested in IT and digital skills. Although, as a person said, what we call the solution in innovation district, there we are training the youth on digital skills, ICT and tech, making them useful in Anambra and exportable abroad. So that is the kind of rehabilitation we have here. The first batch we have trained the Solution Innovation District is 25,000. Another batch is in the making. Our target, as a matter of fact, is 1 million. The Anambra, both those that are indigenous of Anambra and those who live in Anambra are interested in that training. It has always been open to them. That's it. We don't discriminate whether you are from Anambra or not, as long as you live here. Anambra. That is the policy that Professor Soludo is running.
Okay.
If you go to our schools, the last teachers that we have recruited a total of 8,115 teachers, and it was competitively done. People who applied from 14 to 18 states of Nigeria. So if you go to Anambra schools, primary and secondary, you can see Igbo, Hausa, and Europe. As long as they are competent, we are looking for competent teachers and not an incompetent teacher simply because the person is from Anambra. No. So that is, by the way, to talk about that. But the point I have made is that we are rehabilitating our youth who want to be rehabilitated and who want to be given a skill. We are doing that outside the prisons. We do that before they get to prison.
Okay. All right. I think Udogo, your questions have been cleared. If you have more to ask, you are free, or you hang up so that other people can come in.
All right. Let me just give a space. Thank you very much for the much elaboration. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. That call came in from Udogo. He has spoken, and the response has come through our commissioner. We appreciate those who are watching from our Facebook and those who are watching from our YouTube channels. Don't forget, we are streaming on our both YouTube channels, BVI Channel 1 Plus, and our main channel. And also, we are live on Instagram, so you can make use of any of these platforms anytime to get updated with information. And we are pleased to have in our presence tonight on this live broadcast the Commissioner for Information, who had been here with us to elaborate on this very issue. Some other callers are calling in. Let's first take this caller. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening to you. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, my name is Nkiru Kawis. I'm calling from. Calling you from Obo. Our guest in the studio, our information minister. Good evening, sir. Yeah.
Good evening, my dear sister.
This sanitizing Anambra State. The one where I supported the governor. In the other way, I'm not in support of it. My reason is the first number one question. This sacrifice has been there since I was born. Is it not the right that instead of arresting, you have to teach somebody, you have to correct somebody in a right way, in a modernized way? Why not correct them how to do this 21st sacrifice century? And again, both native doctors, most of them are fake. Most of the pastors are fake. We know quite all right. But don't you think that the cause of the whole thing is unemployment? Is it not the best thing, first of all, what those people that are arrested is to create a bring that farmland, support NGO that want to buy farmland in order to employ youth, bring infrastructure, build industry. You will see this whole kit. When you are doing something, you have nothing to do to go to somewhere and to do whole kit for you in order to get money. But again, this very OKT, when we are talking about the poor people, what about, don't you think that what causes the whole things is most of the politicians? Because most of them, you will see how they will be spending money in their villages. Is it not corruption? Is it not those politicians and those people that are spending money anyhow that gingered youth to continue like that?
All right. Thank you very much for your questions, and I believe he's going to take out. He will do an answer.
There's a lot of things. Can you summarize our question for me?
Okay. She said a lot of things, but the most prominent one is about the issue of sacrifice. You know, this ordinary worship requires some sacrifice as they practice it. Now, this sacrifice practice have been in a large scale been banned from our Lord, from the Homeland Security. Can you expatiate more on that? Because that is where she is not really clear.
She's not correct. Igbo traditional religion and worship is all about sacrifice. So the new law is not against it. What the new law said, you should not carry out your sacrifice in a common facility that all of us go. You don't go, if you go to some places around Anambra State, you'll be shocked. What they have done what they've done along the road in the name of sacrifice. Many of those things that I saw, they go to rivers and they do all manner of things. You kill an animal in the river as a form of sacrifice. You are polluting the water. The animal you kill, be it a fowl, a goat, pigeon, even cow, also kill cow, and throw inside the river. And as you do so, the animal will die because it has been killed and decompose and becomes a health hazard for the individual that is relying on the same stream as a source of water. That is what the law is saying. The law is saying you cannot pump your sacrifice in the stream that all of us are using. You can't do that anymore. And you cannot go and dump your sacrifice dump it anywhere that is private to you. Don't bring it. For example, when we say that we don't want sacrifice in our rivers, you can dig up some well around your house and make a long stretch of the swimming pool around your house, and it's the river for you. Yes, create your own river if you want to use the river. But if you have to go to the river, you don't dump sacrifice there. That's exactly what the law has said. The law didn't say you cannot go to the river. No, I'm not aware of any provision in the law that says you cannot go to the river. Maybe even bet in the river. You can bet in the river. We all bet in the river. Children do that. But to go there, to begin to perform certain things that will require dumping of sacrifice, the law is against it, and if we get you will regret ever going to the river for such a purpose. We don't want.
So people are free to go and pray in the river and not get arrested. But when they now put some of those,
I don't see who will be arrested because the person prayed in the river. What we are saying is you don't dump anything in the river.
That makes much sense.
Whoever is arrested for praying in the river is over seriously. There is no provision like that in the law. There is no provision like that in the law. And I expect people whose rights are violated, I expect them to take it up. They should petition the governor. They should write petition to the governor.
Is there any means where they can do that?
The special advisor on security. They should write petition to the special advisor to the governor on security, special advisor to the governor on community security, and the honorable commissioner for homeland security, for homeland affairs. Even to my office, I'll help to process it. Look, people should stand up for their own rights. Go and read the law to know what the law says that you should do and the things you shouldn't do. The one I know is that you should not dump any form of sacrifice in our rivers. If you do so, you go to jail.
All right.
But I can't see where the law says that if you take that in the river, you go to jail. I will look at the law again and see if there's any contradiction. But for now, I don't think that.
All right, sir. I think we have done justice to this program for tonight, and we believe that we will always come around to have more deliberation on issues that borders around Anambra good governance.
I'm available anytime. We can do it again. And any of us, any of your followers that believe that he has something to say, give the person my number.
Okay, that is wonderful. That is to show transparency and a servant kind of leadership.
We are servant leaders.
Okay. Because tonight is all about the Homeland Security Law. Next time we're going to be bringing you, it is going to be boiling down on governance itself. Boiling down on governance itself. Because we already appraising. Just recently, the governor of Anambra State received an award by SON. And some people are even saying or asking, what made it merit award for him? We are going to find out next when we bring you on the program why the governor of Anambra State won that award.
Even before I come to the program, before I come to your program again, I am going to give you a long list of the achievements of Professor Chukwuma Soludo, all under 3 years, without borrowing a penny. We have compiled about 150 sterling achievements of the Soludo administration, ranging from infrastructure, human capital development, social development, environment, everything, health, education. We have touched all parts of the Anambra socio-cultural life in a very fundamental way. The easiest way to lose an argument is to argue against the data and statistics. We will give you all these things. You will be the judge. When we give you, you will now avail your followers of the same time. They will know that there is no governor in Anambra and beyond Anambra as we speak. The records are there. You need to know that on roads alone, Soludo has awarded 720 kilometers of road, and he has completed and started over 400 kilometers. The remaining 370 kilometers are ongoing and will be completed before October this year. All the governors before him in Anambra State, starting from 1999, put together the number of roads they built in 8 years of their tenure. Together was there for 2.5 years. You can calculate and combine them side by side and match them with what Soludo did in less than 3 years. Then when you finish it, the analysis will continue.
Now you're giving me an assignment. No problem. We are in for it because here we preach good governance. I will tell the people undiluted truth, verified truth for that matter. So you bring it on, we verify it. We will come back, will engage you on the achievements of Soludo in Anambra State. This is BVI Channel 1, and
Thank
it's
you.
my pleasure that we had in our program tonight the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Law Mefor. It's my pleasure to have you, and we hope to have you again.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that is it for now. Thank you for watching. This is BVI Channel 1. As we're signing out, keep watching, keep liking, keep sharing. Let the conversation continue on the comment section. I still remain Suchinudi Peters, the advocate for good governance. And I hope you all will be part of this journey to make our homeland a better place. Please keep in touch by subscribing and following us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, as the one they call X platform now, and also on our YouTube channels. Our backup channel is BVI Channel 1 Plus. You can subscribe there, and also on our main channel so that you don't miss a thing. Until I come your way next time, stay blessed and stay safe. Good night. Bye-bye for now.